Hej och hjärtligt välkomna till Invest Live. Idag ska vi presentera två mycket speciella gruvbolag, vilka båda prospekterar och förädlar fyndigheter av kritiska råvaror. Eftersom dagens bolag är engelskspråkiga kommer presentationen nu att fortsätta på engelska. Hello and welcome, and if you tune in to Invest Live from Canada, a very good morning to you all. If you watch this live, you can interact with the management if you need to ask any questions, and you'll do that on the chat side. We will deal with every questions at the end of each company presentations. Feel free to use Swedish and or English. This broadcast is a cooperation between Direkt Studios, Invest Live and their partners, and is presenting by Scandinavian Alliance. The Scandinavian Alliance is a full service provider and such can connect any company to the Scandinavian and the Northern European markets and its financing environment. And for more information, please go to scandinavian.com. The first kid out on the block is NOA Lithium Brines, and the most prolific lithium producing district in the world is referred to as the Lithium Triangle, and is found in South America between Peru, Chile and Argentina. NOA, with assets in Argentina, is the newest kid in town, one could say. And here to tell us more about the company, the richness in the triangle and lithium's importance going forward for development of industry and batteries is Gabriel Rubaja, CEO. Gabriel, very nice to see you. How are things in Canada?
I think things are going well. Thanks for the introduction.
Well, Gabriel, please go ahead. The floor and the show is yours.
Thanks. Well, thanks for the invitation. NOA Lithium is first my name, as it was said, I'm Gabriel Rubaja. I'm current CEO of NOA Lithium. I've been in this business for more than 30 years. I spent more than 25 years executing projects in the region, Argentina and Chile. I was a managing director of an engineering construction company, one of the largest in the region. And then I spent the last 7 years in lithium companies, especially in Lithium Americas, where I was a board member and I was president of South American operations. NOA was founded early 2022 by a group of Argentinians with experience in mining and Argentina, where we put together three different blocks in three different salars. We secure the land packages to form what it is right now, more than 100,000 hectares of mining properties in three different salars in the Salta province, which is the most friendly jurisdiction in the region, if not in South America. The founders, two of the founders, Hernan and myself, are the biggest shareholders of the company, and now we're managing and leading this effort from Argentina in order to get a grip of what is going on in the development of our three properties in Salta. We got a main milestone ahead of us, which is in Q1 next year, in order to get a maiden resource for one of the projects that we got, which is Rio Grande. As it was mentioned before, Argentina, together with Bolivia and Chile, form the Lithium Triangle, and which got approximately 50% of lithium resource in the world, and 20% of that is located in Argentina and several salars in the northwest part of Argentina. The advantage of Argentina to Chile and Bolivia is Argentina is a federal country and the resources belong to each one of the provinces, and the lithium is not considered strategic mineral, which is much easier to develop projects in Argentina right now. Many multinational companies are operating in Argentina, Chinese, Korean, Australian, Canadians, and then lithium is being produced in Argentina since late 1990s, where the first lithium company was established in Argentina. At the time was FMC. Nowadays, besides the international companies, there are also several Argentinian oil and gas companies that are trying to get involved in the lithium business. So it's a booming sector with a lot of opportunities. There are currently two companies that are producing. The third one will start producing commercially by the end of this year, and several others that are starting to produce will start producing in 2024. This is pretty much the northwest Argentina, where you can see several salar salt flats that are pretty close one to the other. This comprises three provinces in the northwest Argentina, which is Jujuy, Salta, and Catamarca. But as I said before, Salta is the most friendly jurisdiction to develop mining opportunities, and we got the three main projects that we got in the province of Salta, which are the blue dots that we got there. And we shared some of those salars with other players in the market. If we go to the first one is Rio Grande. Rio Grande is it wasn't explored it wasn't exploited so far. We share this salar with another company, which is Pluspetrol. It's a private company. It's an oil and gas Argentinian company. And we decided to start exploration in this salar because there was previous information from other companies that are explored this salar in 2011 and 2018. So we had information from the past, previous available information, and we performed geophysics last year that allow us to get more knowledge of where to drill and what to drill. We got a significant land package of 37,000 hectares. As you can see, the blocks are marked in the map. Some properties are within the salar, the salt crust of the salar. Some others are outside the salar. But just to understand, the salar or the brines that contain the lithium are not just on the salt crust, because the brine goes beyond the boundaries of this salt crust, because originally these lakes or salt flats were much larger than what it is seen right now. The other thing is that most of the major players right now are exploring the outside the boundaries of the salt flats, because it was found that more concentration it's found outside the salt crust than within the salar, and we are validating that hypothesis. This is the previous drilling that was done in the salar, so it was a lot of information available. That's why we knew before we started drilling in Rio Grande that there was lithium. It was just a matter of identifying which concentration we have in our exact properties. But some of these drilling that were shallow are pretty close to our properties. At that time, it was drilled up to 100 meters, and it was found concentration of 300 milligrams per liter. We'll talk about that later, whether this is something meaningful or not. So with that information plus some geophysics that we performed in last year, we identified out of the 37,000 hectares, approximately 15,000 that are with confirmed lithium or high potential brines with lithium content. Those are the areas in blue and pink in this map. So what we defined last year, at the end of the last year, before we go public, and is to execute or perform a drilling campaign that includes 6 drill holes of approximately 500 to 600 meters deep each, 3 in the northeast properties that we got, and the other 3 within the salar. We started this drilling campaign in March, right a few days after that we got listed in the Toronto Stock Exchange. We started with 1 rig, and we started, as you can see, the arrow in the north property. We found approximately 230 meters of lithium brine units, which is significant, with the 2 aquifers, one with an average of 430 milligrams per liter, and the other with much higher, with 770 milligrams per liter as an average, with maximums of 925 milligrams per liter, which is comparable to the highest concentrations that you can find in other salars, specifically the Salar del Hombre Muerto, which is the highest concentration salar in Argentina. We continue drilling, and the second drill hole was on the property within the salar, right in the middle. Again, we found a much thicker land package of brines with approximately 300 meters of lithium brines array units, with a more consistent concentration. The first part with 440 as an average, and the deeper one of close to 500 milligrams per liter, with maximum of 550 milligrams per liter, which is very good in terms of a volume that we found of brine. And the third one that we are completing, and assays are still pending, that are going to be published likely next week. We drilled more than 600 meters in that well. We found more than 500 meters of lithium brine array units. So far, the concentration is in line with what we found in the other 2 drill holes. So this is gonna be the beginning. Our plan is to finalize this phase 1 of the campaign, the 6 drill holes, before the end of the year. We mobilized a second rig, so we got 2 rigs currently operating in Rio Grande, and we already engaged Montgomery and Associates, which is a technical service company, to start quantification of the resource that we got as a maiden resource in this salar. The second project that we got is Arizaro, which is a little bit north of Rio Grande. I'll show you in the previous slide. Rio Grande is on the bottom of the blue dot on the bottom, and northwest of that is Arizaro, which is the largest salar in Argentina. So we got the 35,000 hectares of properties there. There are multiple players currently working in Arizaro, doing very early stage exploration. Some local companies like Plus Petrol and some other international like Eramet, Tibet Summit, Hanak, Lilac. So they're all interested in this salar that is pretty much unexplored so far. There is not much public information besides what Lithium Chile have published, which give us a little bit of confidence of the lithium content in this salar. Lithium Chile already published a drill hole with 500 milligrams per liter at not much depth. So we are confident. Our plan is to start drilling in Arizaro early next year. One of the properties we got, it's already permitted to start drilling right away. And the others, we expect to get permits in place by the end of this year. Our plan in terms of Arizaro is to use our facilities in Rio Grande because it's pretty close, and then we set some much closer facilities at Arizaro in order to facilitate the activities. As you can see in this slide here, the Lithium Chile information, it's aligned with our north properties, and we're gonna target not only these properties in the north, but also in the south, where some of the information that we got from geology and geophysics give us confidence that it's going to be probably better than in the north. The third salar or third project that we got approximately 10,000 hectares. It's in Salinas Grandes. Salinas Grandes is a salar that is shared by two provinces. All our properties, again, are on the Salta side, not on the Jujuy side. Salinas Grandes is one of the salars that got probably better chemistry in terms of lithium. There's a lot of information available from third parties. We already performed some geophysics and there and validated that we got brines under our properties. But there is published information with chemistry that is good in terms of concentration and other minerals associated with the brine. The advantage also of Salinas Grande that is much closer to the capital city of the province of Salta, and the access to Salinas Grandes is much easier than in the other projects. So we are confident that here, even though we got a smaller land package, it's very interesting in terms of potential that we got here in Salinas Grandes. Which is our plan for 2023 and going forward. 2023, our target is to focus our attention in Rio Grande, complete the drilling campaign, be ready to get all the information necessary to get the maiden resource. 2024, start working in Arizaro, which is our second project, and published maiden resource for Rio Grande. In terms of why we want to have maiden resource, because with that we can start quantify what is the value associated with the project, and we can go there in a minute. So next year, focus is maiden resource, start working in Arizaro, and while we continue drilling Rio Grande and increase the resource that we're going to publish as a maiden resource. And in late 2024, early 2025, the plan is to start drilling in Salinas Grandes, so we can start putting a value on that project. So basically what we are planning is 1 year to each project, and in 3 years have resource determined in each one of the projects that we got. What is the capital structure of the company? Approximately 110 million shares out. In terms of management and founders, we got 30% of the shares. There are warrants for another close to 100 million. Out of those, 40% are held by management and founders. There are some options there, and our market cap, based on the current, this is as of September, early September, our current market cap is approximately 40 million Canadian. Cash balance as of September 1st, 6 million Canadian. And fully diluted cash position with all the warrants that we got in place, approximately another 38 million, including the cash available. So it's a good position that we got in terms of cash and potentially with the warrants. Some of the warrants, as I said, that are held by founders and seed capital are going to be exercised shortly in order to provide additional capital and start cleaning the warrants in the company. As mentioned before, I wanted to tell you, the concentration that we got in the 3 projects are aligned with the best salars that are being explored or exploited in Argentina. We are talking about above 450, 500 milligrams per liter, which is very good. Because not only because of the concentration, but also because we'll provide the flexibility to go to a traditional process, which is the evaporation ponds, or the DLE, direct lithium extraction, which is the process that the salars with the lowest concentration are going, but is still to be proven and is something that needs to have further development. So the concentration that we got right now provides this flexibility going forward into the development and projects execution in terms of process definition. In terms of why we wanted to start evaluating the company, and in order to evaluate the company, we need to start working on the resource. Based on the recent transactions that been done in the last, I would say, 2 years, and considering the resource and the grades or the concentration or on the salars, the calculation is that for each 1 million tons of resource at about 400 milligrams per liter, it is estimated, it is valuated in 150 million Canadian for each 1 million ton. So we are confident that our main source for just one of the project, which is Rio Grande, the one that we are currently drilling, is going to be got potential for much more than this. but we don't want to say anything until we get a quantification of that. But having 1 million ton of resource is something reasonable and achievable easily, even with the few drill holes that we get. So based on the current market evaluation, market cap of the company, we are talking about 3 times what we currently get as market cap. This is basically what I got to show you, and I'm open to questions, whatever you need.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Could you just elaborate a little bit about the difference between the Chilean approach to mining versus the Argentinian? Because you mentioned that Argentina was very positive towards mining in this sector.
Yeah, basically Chile defined lithium as a strategic mineral. There are 2 things. First of all, it was a change in the approach in Chile, where let's go from the beginning. Chile is not a federal country. It's all the resources belong to the central government or the country, not the provinces. In Argentina belongs to the provinces. The lithium in Chile, it is a strategic mineral. In order to exploit the lithium in Chile, you had to get a permit, then not just environmental assessment in order to develop a project, but also a permit from the National Atomic Energy, which is not easy, and you need a lot of support to get it from the national government. Having said that, there were some changes going forward. In order to develop a project in Chile, you have to be associated with the national government through national entities. So it's a partnership from now on. There is a regimen of quotas in terms of what you can produce. And the use of water is a very serious restriction in Chile. In Argentina, the resources belong to the provinces. Everything is set up in terms of what you pay to the province. You have to get obviously your environmental permits from the provinces. There are no quotas. Lithium is another mineral, like it could be copper, or silver, or gold. It's just another one. It's pretty straightforward.
So one could say that it's less red tape in Argentina, and then I would argue then maybe you should be trading at the premium to your Chilean peers, because life would be easier as long as you're a good citizen. Would that be correct?
It wasn't the case before.
No?
I mean, it was easier doing business in mining in Chile than in Argentina, but in lithium in particular, now Argentina is much, much easier than doing business in Chile. As a matter of fact, there are only 2 projects in Chile, even though they got the largest, the resource in Chile is much larger than in Argentina. There are only 2 companies operating in Chile, SQM and Albemarle, where in Argentina there are multiple companies operating.
And that's an excellent segue to my next question, because you had a slide here with the Rio Grande projects, and one could see the neighbors, as it were, to your, and they seem to be like who is who in the mining industry. So with that in mind, would you be looking for a partner with the Rio Tintos and the POSCOs of the world? And do you cooperate vis-a-vis infrastructure, or is it the other way around?
Let me show you where we are here. Our neighbor here is Plus Petrol. It's an oil and gas company. We are sharing roads. We are trying to share whatever we can do together, but each one is doing their own business. it's a natural partner, let's put it this way, to have Pluspetrol as a partner to us. But so far, what we are doing is sharing the roads. We're going to share even costs associated with maintenance of the roads. We are sharing information, but this is it. In terms of going forward, at this point in time, we like to say that we are an exploration company for the time being. We wanted to maximize the evaluation of our companies through exploration. That at the appropriate time, if there is a convenient proposition for the shareholders, we can look into a partnership with some other company. But for the time being, what we are doing is going step by step, trying to minimize the dilution of our shareholders and raising money as we need.
And one question here then to wrap up here is you had a slide about the lithium price, but as being an explorer at this point, how important would the lithium price be? One could argue that the demand will definitely increase, but if the lithium price goes up and down by 10% as we speak, does it really affect your activities?
Not the activity. I mean, it is affecting the share price of all of us. That is a reality. But if you recall, 4 years ago, all the projects were evaluated in between $10,000 and $12,000 per ton, or the feasibilities were done at that range, which is very good for the projects. At this point in time, even though the price is in the high 30,000s, most of the feasibility of the studies are done with the evaluation of the long term on the middle 20,000. So valuation it's important, but again, with the long-term pricing and the shortage of lithium is going to remain for quite a few years. Long-term, considering 20,000+ per ton is more than reasonable, considering that the OPEX of projects in salars, in salt flats, are in the neighborhood of 5,000 per ton, which is still very convenient.
Yeah, so the round and short would be really that test results at your stage now is more important than the price development.
Yeah, yeah.
And you mentioned first quarter 2024, so that would be the next most important thing to look for the market and for yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for that, Gabriel. Very interesting. This is a very hot sector, but it's important to know that demand is still out there and price fluctuations may not really affect the output for next year or the coming years. So if anyone would have any more questions, they would be forwarded to your webpage. I take it to your homepage,
okay.
Gabriel?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
In that case, we wish you best of luck, not that you need it, and we'll speak to you later. And
thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll have a short break here while we connect the next team, the next company. So please stay tuned. Hej och välkomna tillbaka. Vi ska nu raskt kasta oss över nästa bolag som heter Niobay Metals och vi kommer även här nu att gå över på engelska. Active in Quebec and Ontario, Niobay is about to develop one of the most promising niobium deposits in the world. Here to tell us how these deposits will develop and why niobium is such a crucial metal would be the CEO, Jean-Sébastien David. Jean-Sébastien, how are you?
Very good, Carlos. Thank you for having me today.
It's an absolute pleasure. Well, Jean-Sébastien, the floor is yours. Please take it away.
Thanks very much. So, JS David, so it's a lot easier instead of Jean-Sébastien, a lot shorter. I'm the CEO. I like to say that I'm a CEO in learning. I'm more a technical guy. I'm a geo by training. I have done several projects before. My last one was with my team. It's to get all the approval for a phosphate project based in Canada. Prior of that, was also in charge to get all the permits for the Canadian Malartic project, which is, we call it today the Osisko one. This is where everything started for Osisko. And that was for 13 years, the largest gold mine in Canada. So I was in charge for the full permitting. So I know the process here in Canada. So that's probably one of the reasons why they decided to ask me to become the CEO of Niobay. I was a member of Niobay for many years. So I started with Niobay in 2014. So what we're looking, first of all, who we are. We're based in Canada. Our main office is in Montreal. And like the word say, Niobay, we're looking for niobium. Why is that? Niobium is pretty rare. And we do have some experience in niobium. In fact, I was vice president for Cambior. And at the time, Cambior was the third niobium producer in the world. You need to know that there's only 3 mines. There's 2 in Brazil and 1 in Canada. And there's a market for a new one. And I will tell you a little bit more about it. We do have 2 great assets. One is located in Ontario, which is the James Bay. The other one in Crevier. I'm going to talk a little bit more about those 2. And we also have a bunch of claims in Quebec and also in Ontario. So let's say the major shareholders, I was, there's a reason why the Osisko Group is there. They're looking to become a niobium producer. So that's the reason why they took 25% of Niobay. The Caisse de dépôt, what is Caisse de dépôt? It's a pension plan. So a pension plan out of Montreal here. It's a pension plan. The province of Quebec, so the Quebec pension plan, they own less than 10%. Dutch, for sure, we're getting very. The stock market is pretty hard. It's a shame to see our stock at that level, but what can I do? We have a very small team. This is the group. One of the reasons why I'm keep it small, it's for the burning rate, but also being with the Osisko Group, because physically in Montreal, our office inside the Osisko Gold Royalty offices. So that's allowing me to ask for geos or metallurgist or any kind of professional, and I don't have to pay them for a full year. So I pay them every time I need it, and I pay them by hour. So that's why I'm I'm keeping, and I'm able to keep the burn rate very low. But also, it's great for such a small company to have a big neighbors. So we're able to share ideas and the workforce. Niobay is pretty old. We're going to celebrate our 70th anniversary next year. We have changed our names 8 years ago when we acquired James Bay. The Niobium project, so that's why we're not anymore MDN, but Niobay. So niobium, I told you, it's pretty rare. There's only 3 mines in operation. Yes, there's some operation, but very small scale operation in Africa on coltan projects. But mainly there's only 3 mines. The main market, it's for the steel industry. So it allowed the steel to make it stronger and lighter. And this is, I will say, our main focus for our James Bay niobium project in Ontario. It's to get into this market, the steel market. The other one, it's more for the battery. So the second market, we can see that there's a new market for the last, I will say, 3 years, because of this new technology, this new battery that CBMM and Toshiba, they have put a lot of money and they have developed a niobium battery. And now you see more players in that field, like Acheon, Newbold, Battery Streak. So that's a new market, and this is one of the reasons why we have decided to reopen the file, the Crevier project file, because we think that Crevier can fit very well for the battery market. Where they put the niobium, mainly for the last 3 years, the development was to put the niobium inside the anode. But for, I will say, a year and a half, we can see that Toshiba and others players, they're starting to put also, not only in the anode, but also on the cathode side of the battery. So that means that it's just more market for us. So the market, the size of the market, according to CBMM, that will go up to 2030. We're looking for 30,000 ton of niobium oxide that will be required for the battery market, but it's just growing and growing. So that's one of the reasons why we think that's a big blue sky. Everything was put in all the BFS study that we have done. We put emphasis on the steel market only, but the blue sky is the battery market. Probably I'm going to have the question, why the niobium battery? Fast charging, better performance in cold weather, and able to do a lot of cycles. So that's why actually in Brazil, there's a few buses using niobium batteries, and you're going to use those batteries where you need to charge a lot frequently. There's also some robots in the Amazon warehouse using those robots, or they are using batteries from Acheon. So James Bay. So I will say probably our flagship, very, very, very similar to the Niobay mine, which is the third producer. I have worked for Niobay So I know a little bit about niobium. Claude Dufresne, who was part of the team, was in charge to sell niobium for 12 years. So when we're saying that the James Bay looks very similar, for geological speaking, to Niobay, I think we have a winner there. I think that can be the fourth niobium mine in the world. The location, it's not so bad because we do have a railroad, and it's not that far from Moosonee, so only 40 kilometers south of Moosonee. And there's a power line, and there's also a winter road. So the red one you can see. So the access is not bad. We have signed with the local First Nation 2 environmental protection agreements. The first one was to cover the first round of drilling. The second one was for the second round of drilling. So far, the BFS shows that we can have 150 million kilos of niobium. So pretty good numbers. And those numbers are pretty good too on the return and also the NPV of this project. To be very transparent with the First Nation, and in fact, there's ore at the surface, and we can see that there's ore at depth. We show 3 scenarios, and you have those 3 scenarios. Why I've put it the third one in green, I think we can and we should improve that scenario. But at the end of the day, is it going to be the in between, the open pit, and then do an underground operation? Maybe. So we still have some work to do. So the green dots are the future holes that we're aiming to do. This is the size of the ore body, but we think that there's more looking north, sorry. So we usually do the drill program in that area in the winter time. It's a lot easier for the access. Last drill program in 2022, those are the results. So that shows that the ore is still there, and those are from a new area. So we think that we can increase the ore body. There's been an election at Moose Cree First Nation last summer. So now we are just starting to re-engage with this new group. So there's a new chief, new deputy chief, and half of them are new councillors. Crevier, which is funny because, I was on Crevier, and today I'm not working in my office in Montreal. I'm working in the office near where Crevier is. And we're finishing our 2023 drill program on Crevier. Crevier is very close to the Niobay mine, which is, again, the third niobium producer. This project has been discovered almost at the same time, but it's a little bit different because there's a tantalum associated with surface deposit, but what we see so far is go a lot deeper. So that's one of the reasons why we have done a new drill program on it. A smaller one, a cheaper one, but a lot smaller one, 1/3 of James Bay. For now, we know that we can get 50 million kilos of niobium. So last year we have done a few holes to see if, because we discovered a new carbonatite, and we were trying to find out if this carbonatite was rich in niobium. was not the case, but we saw other material like manganese and strontium. And one of the reasons why we have done this year drill program, it's to get some more rock, because I would like to perform some new metallurgical test work to see if we're economically able to recover the manganese that we saw and the strontium that we have. We have signed an agreement with the First Nation up there, from Mastuiyash. Mastuiyash, I've been working with them for the last 25 years. I know them very well. We signed that deal in February last year. I'm very proud to say that all the work that we have done on Crevier this year, everybody were coming from the area, and the drillers were from Mastuiyash. We have done some improvement on Crevier. When we reopened the Crevier file, that was because of the news about the niobium battery. So we have decided to reopen that file in 2019. We did the PFS. And then we said, okay, we need to improve the grade. We need to have a better understanding of the ore body, and we need to improve our metallurgy. So I can say, and we have done a press release at the beginning of this year. We did that for the PDAC in Toronto, that we improved a lot the metallurgy. In fact, we're going to tweak the flow sheet, and now the numbers are a lot better than they were. Also, I will say that with this year drill program, we think that we're going to be able to improve the resource calculation by the quantity and by the quality. So exploration, I'm a geo. So I'm a geo, I need to explore, I need to add the project in the pipeline. Since we do have two good horses with James Bay and Crevier for niobium, I'm looking, we took 6 pieces of claims north of Crevier, in the same area of the First Nation that we made a deal with. But this one was more for silica, this one was for lithium, and this one for manganese. So looks promising for blue. I'm waiting for that's going to be the next press release. We have done a lot of grab sampling during the summer. And I wish to release something in October about the results of our work up there. And this year program, those are the green hole that we have done. I added one over here at depth. So and again, was pretty promising. Two days ago, I was in the field with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. It's pretty rare that the national TV goes on a project, but they came on our project 2 days ago. They did an interview, and also that's also because we had people from Korea that came to see Crevier, because Crevier is pretty special, and we think that we can add more stuff than niobium and tantalum in that project. This is it. It's pretty hard to do it in 25 minutes.
Well, Marks, so now I will refer to you at JS David. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, I have to expose my ignorance, and I did a little bit of digging here. But niobium it is considered by many countries as a critical mineral. But also you mentioned that the only critical, the only known assets with critical mass would be in Brazil and Canada. How do we square the circle? It seems to be a metal in demand, but it's only in two places. Is that because there isn't in the ground, or people haven't been looking for it?
Well, I will say probably both, but that's pretty rare to find. You know, I've been looking for projects, niobium projects, for many years. There was one promising in Tanzania, but was not so good. There was another one, the ELT project in US, but it's more a scandium project than a niobium project. So no, they are rare. I will say there's 50 carbonatite in Ontario, and so far the only one that can show the potential to become a mine, it's the James Bay niobium. So that's a rare beast, I will say. We know that Australians are working on it, but again, you know, the last mine came online was Niobay 50 years ago. So that's the reason why it's important to be on the market, because the Niobay they're going deeper and deeper, and they're losing markets because, you know, they cannot support and supply the market demand. So there's a market for us, and it's time to be inside that market.
So one could say that you are very exclusive. How would you like the stock market to well, not value you, but I mean, should we be putting you into the PMG sector, precious metals, or where should you be with? I mean, obviously you standing for the industry knowledge.
Yeah, you know, we're basically being a critical mineral. So lots of people, they look at us as they compare us with the lithium projects, manganese project, so vanadium projects. So you know, short story, we were at $1.19 3 years ago. When we discovered the main zone on James Bay, but we were not able to support that because we've been stopped at the time by the First Nations for reason that they know about, and we don't. That's the reason why we signed agreement after that to make sure to be able to. But we've been very hit by that event, and we were not able to let's say to improve after that event. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. We will do more of that. We need to tell the story. We have a great story. We have great projects in our hand. And we have also big brothers that can help us. They want, those guys, the Osisko Group, they want to see and they want to be part of the niobium business.
Yeah, because that's a good segue to my next questions, because my question is why you and who were you up against in the bidding of these concessions?
Well, you know what, I was first of all, I'm from the area here, so I know the I know the projects. I know that project for a long time. I was born and raised here, and in the Osisko Group. Being part of the Osisko Group, they know what I'm capable to. I was in charge of permitting before, so they know that if there's a project, I'm going to get the permit for it. So this is one of the reasons why I'm here. And also the team like Claude, been working with the niobium for many years. So we know the field, we knew the sector, and for them, Osisko, they're taking care of gold. There's other division, they're taking care of copper and zinc, other for lithium, but us, we are on niobium and tantalum. And don't forget tantalum. Tantalum, it's we know that if we open tomorrow, all my tantalum would be sale on the same day. The people are waiting for that tantalum.
So one could say that you are let's say so far a relative unknown PMG company, and one should be looking at that. Could you tell us about the social responsibilities you have undertaken? You had a slide here with your partnership and so on. It seems like you're pretty much on the ball there.
That was my bread and butter for many years. I was in charge to start the engagement with the stakeholder where there was a project. So that's my I will say geology and stakeholder engagement. That was my, since I left school, I'm doing that. So it's very important for us. It's very important to work with the people in the area. I'm not asking for a driller coming from 1,000 miles away to do a job when we do have manpower that can do it. So locally. So we're trying to work every project that we own with local people. That's the only way to put a project online and to move a project. So it's very, very important for us. And First Nation, it's critical. First Nation, it's first. First Nation means that those are the first people to go and to work with.
But yes, and also Canada is one of the epicenters when it comes to mining. So if you're okay with the authorities there, you are okay anywhere else, I take it. I have a question regarding the slides where you have the open pit and so on, and I will expose my ignorance here. But one of the assumptions there were a production of less than 5% of the world demand. And also you mentioned that niobium in batteries would be blue sky. So what would that do to valuation if you increase that, or is that in the model which you had on page 14?
No, so the page 14, it's only based on with the steel industry. The steel industry demand, it's 100,000 tons per year. So when you look at the 5%, it's, we're around that. And I think we're going to build to get 7%. But what we don't want to disturb the market. We want so the annual growth, it's around 6%. So if we're under the annual growth, so we don't want to disrupt, the price is good. We don't want to be let's say the elephant in the room. So I think that can be a very a good blue chip. And with the 5% here, and if you add Crevier just for the battery sector in Crevier, we're talking about 1,500 ton per year, which is nothing. But we're actually, I will say it's 10,000 per year, the demand, and it will grow to 30,000 ton per year. So we're going to be a small player, but the margin are very good. But yes, it's insane to see our stock price when you see our numbers. And again, we don't want to disturb, and we want to keep the margin, and we want to keep the price as it is right now. That's why we want to think small, and by thinking small, that means that we're gonna need only less money to build the site. Also.
Yeah, but one could argue for the market that if you look at that model, it seems to have a tremendous upside because the demand may explode, and because there aren't that many assets around the world, prices will probably follow. That's why I thought that was quite interesting. And that would be a segue to the next question here. Are you for sale at this stage?
I'm sorry, that cuts a little bit. Can you repeat?
Yeah, no,
I
I just wonder because there is a fantastic upside here if one look at the model and demand side and the fact that you don't really find niobium around in the world. So would you be for sale at this stage, or is it too early for you?
No, it's too early for us. But you know, we're listening, we're talking to a lot of people. That's why the Korean were on Crevier this week. But again, no, I'm gonna be on the road for I will say the next couple of months to tell the story and to try to I would love also to bring some new people in the story. Actually, our shareholder are pretty, you know, they're tired and because of supporting the project, and but again, you know, we're open for everything. We're open for I'm looking for also for maybe offtake agreement. So this is where we are, because we know that James Bay can be the mine, and Crevier we're very close, very close to be able to say that's going to be a mine, and we're starting the feasibility study.
Excellent, very interesting there. So if I recall, you are going to come with some sort of update in October, and after that, what is the next milestone news update from you?
Yeah,
that will be the roadshow.
October will be on the claims that we own, and I'm crossing my finger to make some announcement on manganese for one of our blocks. After that, I should get results from the actual drill program, so I'm going to release it. I'm going to work very hard and fast to make sure that we're going to redo a resource calculation on Crevier and be able to release it. In parallel of that, James Bay, we're looking to go back next winter. So we're looking to make an announcement to go back next winter on James Bay. So that's going to be another set of news. And in the short term, this is it. We're working on something else, but it's not done yet. Probably we have money in the bank. We have good supporters. And probably I would love to increase my portfolio with some manganese projects.
Interesting. So I would be bold enough to say, JS, interesting. So it will be very, I think, worthwhile following this spot. And if there is any further questions, then we will forward them to your corporate website, I take it. So with
That's perfect.
Yeah. So with that, thank you so much. It's been educational and very exciting. So we'll speak to you later. Thank you.